Welcome to Think What If, the channel where we push the boundaries of imagination and explore the most fascinating, terrifying, and mind-bending scenarios the universe has to offer. Today, we're diving into a question that, on the surface, may seem like a quirky thought experiment, but in reality is one of the deadliest and most chilling what-ifs of all time. Imagine a world where, without any warning, oxygen, the very element that makes life on Earth possible, suddenly disappeared for just 10 minutes. Not an hour, not a day, not forever, just 10 minutes. You might be thinking, 10 minutes doesn't sound too long, we could probably hold our breath, right? But as you'll soon discover, the consequences of this event would be catastrophic, devastating, and world-altering in ways you probably never imagined. Oxygen, though invisible and often taken for granted, is the single most important element keeping us alive. About 21% of the Earth's atmosphere is oxygen, and our bodies are fine-tuned to depend on that percentage. Every breath you take fuels every single cell in your body. Without oxygen, the energy systems in our cells collapse. The chain of life itself breaks down, and our survival becomes a matter of seconds. But the truth is, the disappearance of oxygen would not just affect human beings gasping for air. It would impact the entire planet at every level: the oceans, the atmosphere, the soil, and even the very structures we live in. So let's step into this terrifying alternate reality. The countdown begins. Oxygen vanishes, completely, globally, and instantly. What happens first? The very moment oxygen disappears, you wouldn't be able to take another breath. But the human body is surprisingly resilient. Most people can survive a few minutes without breathing before permanent brain damage begins. 10 minutes is a lethal threshold, but survival depends on various factors like age, health, and activity at the time. If you were sitting still, you might survive with severe damage. If you were running, swimming, or even just walking briskly when this event occurred, you would collapse within minutes. Across the globe, billions of people would suddenly clutch their chests, collapse to the ground, and fight desperately for breath that no longer exists. Emergency services would be rendered useless. How can you save someone when the very air you depend on is gone? But the disappearance of oxygen goes far beyond suffocation. Consider this. Our atmosphere is about 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, and the rest trace gases. Remove oxygen, and the delicate balance of the atmosphere collapses. The sky itself would look darker. Within seconds, the blue we associate with our daytime sky would vanish, replaced by a strange black void dotted with stars. Why? Because the blue color of the sky is caused by oxygen and nitrogen molecules scattering sunlight. Without oxygen, there is less scattering. The heavens themselves would suddenly look alien, as though Earth were transported into outer space. Next, imagine the sun blazing overhead without the protection of ozone. Ozone is made of oxygen molecules, and it acts like Earth's natural sunscreen, shielding us from harmful ultraviolet radiation. In those 10 minutes without oxygen, the ozone layer collapses. Deadly UV rays would flood Earth's surface, burning exposed skin, damaging eyes, and sterilizing unprotected ecosystems. For humans still conscious at this point, the sensation would be like standing in front of an open flame. Skin blistering within minutes, corneas searing, DNA unraveling in cells across the body. Even after oxygen returns, the damage done by radiation would linger for generations in the form of cancers, mutations, and genetic damage. Now, let's talk about fire. It may not seem like a priority in a world where no one can breathe, but oxygen is the single fuel that makes fire possible. Without oxygen, every flame on Earth extinguishes instantly. Forest fires, candles, gas stoves, car engines, all of it would go dark in an instant. Imagine the silence, No hum of engines, no crackling fire, no combustion anywhere on the planet. At first, this might seem like a blessing. No fires mean fewer disasters. But consider the implications. All planes mid-flight, all cars on highways, and every single piece of machinery powered by combustion would stop immediately. Planes would fall from the sky like stones. Cars would screech to a halt on highways, causing pileups in every city. Power plants that rely on combustion would instantly shut down, plunging entire regions into darkness. Humanity's infrastructure would crumble in a matter of seconds. And speaking of infrastructure, oxygen isn't just important for breathing or burning, it plays a critical role in the very materials we build with. Did you know that oxygen makes up about 45% of Earth's crust? It's bound in minerals, rocks, and metals. Remove oxygen, and the structural integrity of many materials is compromised. Concrete would crumble into dust. Steel, which relies on oxidized layers for its strength, would weaken. Bridges, skyscrapers, and buildings would start cracking and collapsing. The very cities we've built would literally fall apart around us in those 10 minutes. The oceans, too, would undergo a horrifying transformation. Water is H2O, two hydrogen atoms bound to one oxygen atom. Remove oxygen, and water itself ceases to exist. Every river, lake, and ocean would turn into hydrogen gas in a violent, explosive reaction. Imagine standing by the sea and watching, in an instant, as the entire ocean vaporizes into a massive cloud of hydrogen. Ships would crash onto exposed seabeds, marine life would suffocate instantly, and coastlines would erupt with violent explosions. The Earth's climate would collapse, because without oceans, there would be no heat regulation, no rainfall, and no life left to cling to the planet's surface. Plants would suffer just as much as animals. While humans breathe oxygen, plants use it in cellular respiration as well. More importantly, photosynthesis, the process that creates food and sustains ecosystems, relies on the exchange of gases in an oxygen-rich environment. Without oxygen, the machinery of photosynthesis halts, and the delicate balance of ecosystems collapses in minutes. Forests go silent, crops wither, and the green life of Earth begins to die. The air itself feels heavier, stranger, as nitrogen dominates unchecked. Now let's go deeper, literally. Without oxygen in the atmosphere, the protective pressure we live under shifts dramatically. Earth's air pressure would drop by about 21%. For humans, this would feel like being suddenly transported to the top of Mount Everest without acclimatization. Your ears would pop violently, your blood vessels would rupture, and your body would swell as gases inside tissues expand. People would collapse not just from suffocation, but from the trauma of rapid depressurization. Airplanes already falling from the sky would break apart mid-air as their fuselages failed under pressure differences. Think about sound for a moment. Oxygen molecules are critical in carrying sound waves through the air. Without oxygen, sound would be muted, hollow, and alien. Conversations would become strange whispers, and the world would fall into a terrifying quietness, broken only by the desperate gasps of humanity struggling to survive. Imagine a planet where silence itself becomes another form of horror. And then there's the long-term impact. Even though oxygen would return after 10 minutes, the world would never be the same. Billions of people would die from suffocation alone. Survivors would face burns, blindness, brain damage, and radiation poisoning from those 10 unprotected minutes under the sun. Entire cities would lie in rubble, oceans gone, fires extinguished, and power systems collapsed. Governments would fall, economies would crash, and civilization as we know it would cease to exist. The Earth would look less like a thriving planet and more like a post-apocalyptic wasteland. But perhaps the most haunting aspect of this scenario is the reminder of just how fragile our existence really is. We tend to believe that Earth is stable, that nature is reliable, and that the air we breathe will always be there. But the truth is, our lives hang by the thinnest of threads. Oxygen is invisible, intangible, and yet it is the foundation of everything we are, everything we build, and everything we hope to become. Take it away, even briefly, and the illusion of stability shatters instantly. So could such an event ever really happen? The honest answer is no, not in the way we've imagined it here. Oxygen cannot simply vanish from Earth without rewriting the laws of physics and chemistry. It is bound deeply into the very structure of the planet, the atmosphere, and the oceans. But by imagining this impossible scenario, we begin to appreciate the extraordinary gift we have in every single breath. 10 minutes without oxygen would destroy life as we know it. But 10 minutes with oxygen, unnoticed, unappreciated, and taken for granted, is just another ordinary moment in the miracle of existence. And so, the next time you step outside, take a deep breath and feel the life it carries into your body. Think about how precious, how delicate, and how vital this invisible gas really is. Because the truth is, we live on a knife's edge, and only by understanding what we have can we truly appreciate the fragile beauty of our world. Here on Think What If, we dive into these strange and terrifying possibilities not to frighten you, but to open your eyes to the hidden wonders of existence. Oxygen may never vanish, but asking what if teaches us to value the miracles we already possess. After all, every second we spend alive is a gift powered by nothing more and nothing less than the air we breathe. So, what do you think? Could humanity recover from a 10-minute disappearance of oxygen, or would it truly be the end of our story? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more explorations into the what-ifs that shape our imagination. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and remember, every breath counts.